Hello, my friends. It's time again for another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. I'm so happy to have you with us today. And let me tell you, you're in for a treat because this person who I'm going to bring on today is somebody who knows everything about getting free public relations. I know your jaw just hit the floor, but really, free public relations. She's amazing. And I've been so lucky. This woman has been in my life since the aughts. Is that what we say? The 2000s, 2010? We've been together on our journeys of community building and making a difference for 15 years. So it's a pleasure to have this amazing woman with us today. So let me go ahead. I'm going to get my info because, she's got a bio and everything. But the truth is, I don't even need the bio. She is a powerhouse. And you know that we do business with people, not businesses. So let's meet the people behind the business because that whole know, like, and trust factor does not develop very well unless you really like the person behind that cash register or behind the phone. So let me tell you about Shannon Procise. Oh my gosh. I said she gets free publicity. She has gotten free publicity to the tune of over $6 million. And she's well known for being the owner of what they call the $1 billion contact list. Like, I want to know who those people are. And she teaches other people how to do the same thing. She's trained and coached thousands of individuals in marketing, event production, business development, and even better, personal growth. She is the creator of a strong, powerful community called the Business Acceleration Network, where I have been able to attend some of those events and have met the best people. And she brings together social entrepreneurs, visionaries, new thought leaders that want to collaborate, create a better world, and focus on prosperity so they can pay it forward. There's so much, she accolades for days. She's co-authored The Law of Business Attraction. She has written a book with T. Harv Eker of The Millionaire Mind. She is amazing. Please, please, please help me welcome Shannon Procise. Shannon, so good to have you here with us today. Thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be here. So, Business Acceleration Network is such a thriving network. You've been doing that for a while now, and you bring together the best of the best in person as well as online. And tell everybody a little bit about the Business Acceleration Network, and then I want to get into your story and get real juicy stuff because Shannon's got juicy stuff, like telenovela stuff. So you definitely want to stay. So tell us about the network.
So we're on a mission to reinvent entrepreneurship through collaboration and community, and have been so honored, Trish, to have you speak and Nancy speak at our organization. And what makes it unique, much like Women's Prosperity Network, which I love that you have the word prosperity and network in your name, is that we really want to give people instant access to people that really agree and live with the concept of putting people first, and supporting them with what they need, and also really teaching businesses how not to abdicate what they're doing and kind of tune into their own guide and inner wisdom to make those decisions to grow.
Yeah, and you know what the cool thing is? We all want to tune into our own inner guidance. And after we tune in, we want someone to say, yes, do that. And that's what's so nice about a collaborative environment of people who are not just like-minded, because that's one thing, but it's like-spirited. It's beyond just thinking the same. It's doing the same and feeling the same. And we're all looking for affirmation, even when we're listening to our inner guidance. So it's a wonderful place to know that you're safe and that people get you. They get you. So that's fantastic, fantastic. And when you and I first knew each other, you were here in South Florida, right? And now you're in Brevard County, which is Melbourne, Cocoa Beach, that area. So it's about 3 hours for those of you who are out of towners. And I met you through and I have to, CLP, and I was like, what was that called? And it was Conscious Living Partnership, right? And you were doing that for 10 years. That was a big community that you built down here, right? And then things changed for you, like 10 years or so in. What happened?
Yeah, it was, there was a lot happening with the economy, also some health challenges. And as much as I tried to keep it going, God kind of wanted me to bring it to ground zero. I was really, as much as we were passionate about helping people live a healthy life, live a conscious life, I was so focused on working that I was out of integrity with my health and my well-being and my spiritual journey. I mean, we kind of are who we are, so I don't want to say I was disconnected. I was definitely connected, but I wasn't walking the talk.
And it's so not unusual, Shannon. I was just talking with a friend of mine who is a business owner, and she recently bought a new brick and mortar location. And she said to me, I am so out of shape. I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm not eating right. I'm gaining weight. I'm not moving, all of those things. And it's because you put so much effort into what you're doing and your life. Like, it's not just your business. You have children. You were married at the time, I think, yes? Or you were in a relationship at the time?
When CLP, I was single, so I was a single mom.
Oh, you were. You were a single mom then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do things and we just get to the point where and luckily you realized it, whether you wanted to or not.
It was a 2x4, so it didn't. It was probably one of the most challenging times in my life, and the big thing is I wasn't really sharing it because I didn't want people to. I didn't first. There's a couple things going in my head. Is I didn't want to um, bother people, right? I didn't want to burden people. I didn't want to inconvenience people or worry people. But also, there was this place of how will I attract clients and be successful if people are knowing that I'm struggling? So I really was in this mental conundrum, and it was so beautiful because destiny really stepped in, and this is what led us to the Dare to Live challenge. But I had somebody come and visit me, and I had stepped out of an organization I was a part of because I really, what I considered, failed, and I never went back. And these people came and visited, and they're like, "You got to go, you got to go, you got to go." And so I ended up going. And when I got there, the publisher of the book, we sat down together, and for whatever reason, I felt vulnerable and able to share with her. And I never felt that way with her before. She was very, bottom line, get things done. But I shared it with her, and she started crying and laughing about all of these challenges and, things that were going on. And I was like, wow, here's this woman who I never really was drawn to, but by being authentic and by being vulnerable, we had this incredible connection. And so I looked around the room and I go, well, who else is here that's my dear friend that maybe I can tell? And then I took one more, like I was just, I took one more step. And when I talked to him, he was like, I'm really upset that you didn't tell me. You should have
Right.
told me before it got to this point, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm your friend. And, I thought we were friends. And then he goes, well, why don't you go talk to this person over here? And when I talked to that person who I didn't really know, he's like, I want to hire you. I've been watching you for 6 years and I want to hire you. And I'm like, did you not hear what I just said? I'm like, wait.
Did you not hear I'm a failure and you don't want to work with me and
Yeah.
I'm not worth it?
And it ended up being, it ended up starting out like a $15,000 contract, which turned into a $35,000 contract. And so I just, during that time, really got the lesson of being vulnerable, being transparent, being, open with your friends, and that power of we don't have to go through this alone, right?
And Shannon, you're right. You are not alone. Me too. It took me a long time to learn that my strength lies in my vulnerability. yet I still struggle with coming clean, if you will, on how I'm doing and feeling, because my whole life, first of all, my mother told me, you don't ask for help. You certainly don't go to a psychiatrist, because that means that you're broken and you don't need a psychiatrist, you know? So all these messages we get all our lives really hold us back from being our true selves, from connecting to people in a way that really creates the affinity that we want in life, the love that we want. Why do we do that? What do you think helped you? I mean, like, what was it? Your monkey mind telling you,
Yeah,
oh, you have to
I,
think about you?
I really thought that people wouldn't want to do business with me. I mean, I
Mhm.
really thought that if I'm authentic, people will think, well, she's not good. Let me go find somebody who doesn't have this drama, or let me go find somebody who, and really I had to look at, do I judge people that way, right? Because if I'm worried about being judged, and I know society, we do have that norm, the judgment bug that goes through our head. But it was really, I thought it was what was best to get me out of the hole. And that was exactly the opposite. It was the vulnerability, it was a transparency. I even on this trip went to my cousin's house, who is like the VP of an oil company. And I'm kind of scrambling to get things together. And the one person I could have told who would have probably said, hey, oh my gosh, I acted like everything was good to go
Everything's
bef-
fine.
before I had this breakthrough of like being authentic, being real. You want to be mindful of who you choose, but really that's a glue. It's a connector. It's a powerful thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's scary. It's really scary. I had and it's funny that your friend said to you, I can't believe you didn't tell me. You kind of get annoyed as a friend that you didn't know. Like, how come you didn't trust me? And we've all been in that situation where someone comes to us and says, oh, I was having a really hard time. I'm through it now, but this is what was going on. And you're sitting there going, hello, what about me? Am I not somebody you trust enough? Don't you love me? Don't you want me to be with you? So it's a double-edged sword, how we push people away while we really want to pull them together to us.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Well, now your business is thriving, the community is thriving. So I know that there's so many things that you do in terms of public relations and doing it for free. So, wrong one. I'm going to give everybody your link to go to get some free media magic.
Actually, my book, which all the templates and everything to create a press kit, so you can find that there.
Yeah, so at meetshannon.com, just go there. And her book is Media Magic, and she gives it away, ladies and gents. It's not just a surface covering of PR. She gives you templates, she gives you how-to, she gives you step-by-steps. So make sure you go to meetshannon.com. Can you give us one little hint of what we can do for some PR that's not too challenging?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to share a mindset thing. I mean, the first thing is just knowing that it's available. You don't have to be a nonprofit. You don't have to be a good writer. It's knowing that to be able to craft a story about you. And education is like a lot of places love education pieces. They love community give back pieces or human interest stories. So those are three things that we really try to focus on. But a lot of times it's like people just don't, they're like, how does this happen? And it's anybody can get publicity, and there's thousands of dollars of publicity waiting for people right now.
And it really is looking at what's happening in the world right now and how am I serving for that purpose. You know, we all do so many wonderful things in our businesses that change people's lives. And instead of focusing on what lives were changed and what happened for them, we focus on the nuts and bolts of our business. So I think you said it, Shannon, it's finding the story, right? How do you find that story, really, is the whole idea of it. So And tell us a little bit about so Business Acceleration Network, like I said, I met some great people there. What's the best way for people to connect?
Yeah, so with the Business Acceleration Network, we do, if you go to businessacceleration club.com, there's some information there. We do free events and what we love. And if you just go to Meet Shannon, I'll kind of guide you. We love supporting, especially Women from Prosperity Network. I find that you ladies and gentlemen are some of my favorite because you already have the spirit of collaboration. You already have this servant's heart. It's such a beautiful playground at Women's Prosperity Network. It just seems like you don't have to go through a bunch of our training, like of how to collaborate. Trish, I want to share a big breakthrough I had about a week ago. Do you mind?
No, please, please.
Yeah, so I used to talk about competition versus collaboration, and I used to actually think that we were born competitive and had to really learn how to collaborate. And I've come to understand after seeing kids and seeing what's going on in so many different parts of the world that actually we were born to collaborate. We were born to connect. We were born to love each other. It's in our innate spirit, and it's through video games and through challenges and through sports and through life where we're taught to be competitive. And competition is good when we're competing against ourselves or we're doing it in a fun, loving way. But I've really, Trish, I've just had this big aha of no, we're helping people go back to what we're born to do. Right. I just for years had it backwards. I thought, this is how we were born. We have to kind of relearn and unwire. And it's like, no, it's just bringing people back to that place of how do we love our neighbors? How do we love each other? What's that golden rule? How do we show up as Nancy says, treating everyone as if they're the one?
And where did that come from that you got this realization?
I study business models and communities. And so I saw this incredible video about, well, first off, I went with family and we were playing a game and it's new family. I'm in a new relationship.
Oh,
And
great. Yay!
my kids were very competitive. And one of the ladies said, you want to be careful how you're competitive. Is that loving? And I was like, wow, because we kind of go, I'm going to get you, right? We get in a fun, loving, competitive way. And she goes, is this how family shows up for each other? It was just, she was really direct, really beautiful. And I kept sitting with it, kind of praying on it, and first off, shift immediately, like, no, I want to, like, we want to help each other. But then I saw this beautiful video that I ended up putting up on my YouTube about these people that go on missionary trips and they play games. And when they went into this village, they started playing Trouble, and they wanted to change the rules. They literally said, we don't want to take out and take people home and all of this stuff. It was in them innate as children where they changed the rules to where we want to help each other. And you're hearing him explain how they changed the game of Trouble where they still had fun. It was an incredible game. And I just started seeing how are we taught? We're taught to be competitive. We're taught to help people out. We're taught to, do this. And so it was a little bit of a journey, but it was all around games. It was all around how we play together and how do I want to show up, even though I want to win the game. I want to take Trish with me, right? Like I want her to feel good playing with me. I guess that's it. I want to make sure that you feel loved and connected playing with me.
Oh, that's so, and doesn't that exactly say what your community is about? That's what Women's Prosperity Network's about. It's
Yeah.
I'm there for my own excellence, but I'm holding your hand and we're going together. We're both going to get there, and we're not there until everybody's there. Wow, that's wonderful. That whole thing about games, you just knocked me in the face about that. So,
did I?
Oh, yes. Because I was very competitive in games, and I'm not as much anymore. And I see it in other people now. And I never realized that. You're really during games, you're happy at someone else's loss, right? So if you think about that, oh my gosh, Shannon, that was
I'll
really
share that video below. I'll share the one that just was like when I watched it, my heart was just singing, right? So I'll share that in the Facebook group below where they go into
okay, in the comments. In the comments, that would be great. Yeah, wonderful. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that. I can't wait to tell. I have two people in mind who are so competitive. Oh my God. When they play together, oh, it's like, no, that's not the rules. You can't do it that way. I'm like, yeah, but it's fun that way. Let's do it that way. No, it's not in the rules. Oh my gosh, that's so good. And it's so true to life how that conditioning creates that dog eat dog. I got to demolish the competition. It's not enough to be number one. I got to get rid of number two. Like that's the mentality that we want to change. That's the mentality we're living in right now in the United States. My guy's better than your guy, so I'm not even going to talk to you about anything. We cut each other off, and that's competition. That's being right. Doesn't it all come down to being right?
Yeah, and it's one of the things you remember from Conscious Living Partnership is we would in everything we do, we always bring people together, but it's like we have so much in common. Let's focus on what we have in common, right?
Right.
And honor that you may think this or that, but it's like when we can go, man, Trish and I love to help women or whatever it is, or we have fun with this, or it's like when we can just keep our attention on what is good, what brings us joy, how to uplift. We need that more than ever. We need that more than ever. And grace, like we need grace for people's understanding,
Yeah. So for those of you who are here with us today, my call to action for you is think about lowering the competition, raising the collaboration, and allowing grace for other people. Because when we allow that grace, it allows us to be vulnerable, to share those things that are going on in our life, which creates love, affinity, beauty in our life. So perfect cherry on top right there, Miss Shannon. Thank you so much for being with me today. And thank you all. Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you all. Make sure you go to Business Acceleration Club where you'll find out the best and easiest way to connect with the Business Acceleration Network. And if you'd like to find out more about the Business Acceleration Network, and you do, go ahead to businessacceleratonnetwork.com. And then, of course, get your free stuff from a PR expert who's got more than $6 million in free PR, and that's Shannon Procyse. Shannon, thank you again for being with us today. Thank all of you for being with us today, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day.